They shooting. These young bucks in the NBA, they made you look. You a slave to a page in my rhyme book. Listen, in NBA history, you got teams like veteran teams or in prime teams are usually the teams that win championships. Barely ever do you see a young team that didn't hit their prime win a championship. Well, I'm here to tell you this much. Minnesota could possibly change that. OKC with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could possibly change that. These are two young teams that may be the face of the league for years to come. Two young players in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards that's battling for the face of the next generation. So far, Anthony Edwards got the momentum. But what he also has is the momentum on the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs. Whenever you hold a team in 2024 to 80 points, and you got the number one ranked defense in the league, this goes back to my point. Defense, even in 2024, is still the foundation of what makes basketball special. All the greats, all the great iconic teams that won multiple championships have been great defensively, right? Some of the best defense ever played. Key stops. That's what they're doing to the Denver Nuggets. They suffocating this team. The Joker gets the ball, he see two bodies, 7-footers. They're contesting every shot. Nobody's barely getting free three-pointers. No wide open threes. Contest everything. Jamal Murray getting his shot blocked multiple times. They had 12 blocks in this game. 12 blocks. The NBA new school, young generation is coming. And the NBA is in good hands with guys like Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka, right? The Joker. These are all players that either in their prime or about to enter it. And Anthony Edwards has not entered his prime. But he got everything he needs to win an NBA championship. They got literally everything they need. They got solid role players. They got defense. They got offense. Right? And even when your offense is not clicking, you having a bad night on offense, if you still could get stops and rely on your defense, you could still stop that team from scoring just enough points to win the game. And you could have a struggling night and still win the game. That's how important it is when it comes to hosting that Larry O'Brien trophy and being called the champion. Now, the Joker, from what I heard, people keep saying that he about to be the MVP, right? So they must have already thought about that he's going to be the MVP of the league already, right? So with that being said, I don't think he deserves to be MVP. It's not because of this series, but him winning MVP awards, I'm going to say this over and over again, it kind of lowers the value a little bit. It always seems like somebody else deserves the MVP when he wins it, right? It's never like a clear-cut year when you could say, hey, the Joker won an MVP. Because I remember MVPs of year past, they were 100% validated as the MVP. There was no second guessing it. But he's the only MVP that gets second guessed a lot. Because a lot of people feel like he don't deserve to win the MVP that year. He could have been like second or third place. But with that being said, these young T-Wolves teams, right? They stopping the dynasty that is, or could potentially be, the Denver Nuggets. That's why I keep telling people, stop assuming that a team is going to win constantly in this generation where players constantly switch team to team. When role players jump from one team to the next. Short-term contracts, right? The league is constantly changing. Teams is constantly changing because nobody has long-term contracts. The future is going to be really fascinating for the Minnesota T-Wolves. Can you keep this team intact with the new CBA laws? Because some of these guys are going to go away and get the bag from somewhere else. And if they win the championship this year, right? I think if they beat the Denver Nuggets, the team that beats the Denver Nuggets is a team that's most likely going to win the championship. And I believe that's going to be the T-Wolves, right? I think they could beat Dallas or OKC. Dallas is going to have a trouble beating a young team like OKC. Minnesota's biggest challenge is going to be playing against a bunch of young kids that got just as much energy as they do, and that's in OKC. But they got a factor over OKC. They got defense, something OKC don't have, right? And OKC could have dry spells. Minnesota could have dry spells, but they still could pitch you in a clamp hold. That's the difference. So with that being said, the 2024 market, the 2024 NBA champs is going to be Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves, the next Michael Jordan. And he's going to do something that is real special in NBA terms of history. He's going to be the leader of his own team, winning a championship at 22 if he could get that job done. That's something special. All right? That's special. And he'd be defeating the stigma of young teams don't win championships. You know, they will dispel that notion. And he's bringing a franchise like Minnesota to championship levels. Brand new franchise that's going to get a bunch of new fans. Watch how many fanboys of the Minnesota T-Wolves now. Now everybody's going to be a T-Wolf fan because Ant-Man is on that team. Sports out. Peace.